Welcome to Sports Sound Off. I'm Garrett Gordon, the man on my left, or the right if you're at home. He can do the Harlem Shake just as good as Kenny Bell. It's Mark Moses from AM 590. Mark, does this Harlem Shake video guarantee a Husker national championship? Because I'm leaning towards yes.
If you're a Husker fan, you will say yes. I will take whatever it takes to win a national championship.
Hopefully, he had some moves in the video.
Yeah, he's actually in the video. He
was doing the Bernie. He was doing the Bernie.
You know what?
Bringing it down.
For a Sunday night to start spring ball, I actually like it. The way how serious this team has been the past couple of months, and I know we're really not that far away from what happened in the Capital One Bowl, I actually like this. Let's have some fun here for a minute and see what happens.
All right, here's a look at what Mark and I will discuss on tonight's Sound Off. And by discuss, I mean I'll say some nonsense and hope Mark can reel me back into the topic. First half, we'll attempt to answer the greatest question known in the galaxy. Is Creighton back? Seriously, are they back? In case that extra long video montage wasn't enough, I'll reiterate, Doug McDermott is a bad, bad man. His 41 points helped the Blue Jays snatch the regular season Valley title, and rather than drawing this out, let's get right into the meat of the discussion. Mark, is Creighton back?
I'll put it this way. I was at the game, you were at the game, and I hope everyone in Omaha, if you had a chance yesterday to go to that game, it was a spectacular, special day in Omaha. Creighton Blue Jay basketball. It was phenomenal. If you're going to make fun of hockey, I'll go this route. You give 3 stars out. Give one to Doug, 41 points. His teammates get the other star. They all stepped up. And third, that crowd showed up. And people knock the Creighton crowd. Who are we kidding here? They say they don't show up. They're not there for 40 minutes. Those fans at the link yesterday were ready to rock and roll. You're not in Kansas anymore. They got it done. Is Creighton back? I think Creighton got their mojo back last Wednesday in Peoria when they smoked the Bradley Braves, and they showed up ready to go. It was 40 minutes of action. I know Doug's 41 helped. Who are we kidding? It helped a lot. They are back. Perfect timing going here into March.
You know what's interesting is this is kind of the time of the year where you want to be hitting that peak.
Yes.
You want to be hitting that peak at about this time. You look at teams, I think Louisville is my favorite example from last year. You watch what Louisville did. They struggled for a lot of that year, and then they got red hot in the last couple games and then scorched through the conference tournament. And then what happened? Louisville ran all the way to the Final Four that year. I think you want to see Creighton getting good right now because this is the time to peak, getting into the tournament season.
Well, what was interesting about the game yesterday was, look, they had senior day, which was really nice. Gibbs, Josh Jones, Echenike, all the guys talked. And they got their T-shirts, and we win a regular season championship. First time since, 01, I believe, so it's been a while. Everyone's celebrating, great day. This isn't over. I walked by the Wichita State players down by the locker room. None of them were saying a word. And I know during the handshake after the game, they said, hey, we'll see you in St. Louis. Garrett, this thing is not over one bit. Congratulations to the team, but there's more work to be done at Arch Madness and moving forward wherever they go.
And they said as much after the game. They understand what's still out in front of them. I do want to get to the phone calls because I know Creighton fans have to be excited. Tony in Omaha, what do you think? Is Creighton back?
Well, I don't know if Creighton is back. I think one of the things is Creighton had a phenomenal win yesterday from the home crowd. They played really well. They beat their arch nemesis, Wichita State, which is a rivalry game, and they won the conference championship. But Creighton has a lot of work to do. First of all, they got to build up their foot speed. They got to play better defense, and they got to learn how to beat the zone when it's getting played against them. Some teams have figured it out early, including Drake and Northern Iowa and St. Mary's. If they don't start passing the ball and taking a step in, start the three-point line, and not being played perimeter, that's good. Grant Gibbs can't be in foul trouble. He's got to be the leader because he's one of the main ball handlers on the press. And, yes, I agree with the other commentator that this is going to go a long way. St. Louis will be interesting. But then my fear is that Creighton's going to get a decent seed in the NCAA, and then it's going to be one and done.
He makes several interesting points. Really good phone call there, Tony. I agree about a lot of this stuff. We've seen them struggle with the zone. We've seen some of their issues. But what I liked about this game was one of the things you can do against a zone is you can shoot a team out of a zone. And if they're going to shoot 70% from the field, they're going to shoot a lot of teams out of playing that zone.
Yeah, I still don't believe the 70%. How is that possible? I know Doug was like 15 of 18 in the game, but 70% as a team? Okay, second half, the 12-minute mark to the 8-minute mark. Two guys really step up for the Jays to get that win yesterday. Austin Chapman, perimeter, just driving to the lane, which you and me were talking about before the show.
Yeah.
Finally shows up, starts penetrating, opening things up. The other guy, Ethan Raggi. I know he doesn't have a beard anymore. He
shaved it off. He understood. He needed some different mojo.
We have been waiting, if you're a Creighton fan, when I say we, you've been waiting 3 weeks for Raggi and his Raggi bombs to show up. They showed up yesterday. He was the final piece. If you can get him going again, then you're right. And 91 points is not crazy to say for every game moving forward.
He had some interesting stuff to say in this call about the NCAA tournament. We're getting to that next block, I promise you. I do want to go back to the phones, though. Matt in Omaha, what is your take? Do you think Creighton is back?
I think Creighton's back, but I think it's going to be their last shot with Doug. What do you guys think?
That's an interesting. It kind of parlays us into a different topic, but I'll go there. Want to know if Doug is going to be back. I think he's coming back because I feel like his draft stock isn't going to change much. I think he is what he is. He's a really good role player at the next level. And I don't think that changes from year to year. I understand this is a weaker draft than next year, a much weaker draft, but I think those teams at the bottom of the first round with winning elements already there would like a guy like Doug that can give you that type of player that comes in and hits the threes, that has a smart basketball IQ, and can get it done. I like him as a late first-round pick this year or next year, so I think he does stay.
Well, Garrett, what's funny about it, after the game I was talking with ESPN's Jason King, who did a fantastic job with his article today talking about this subject, and we were talking off air about you don't lose. He comes back, he's the man of Omaha, you leave, you go to the NBA, you're a millionaire. I wish I was Doug McDermott. Those are some great options to have if you're a basketball player at his level.
I trust Doug and his dad to do the research. They talked about how they're going to do the research and make sure it's smart and in his best interest to go. I think they're smart enough. They do that research, so we probably aren't going to find out till he gets that research that tells him, are you a first-round pick or are you that second-round pick? In which case, I think if you're a second-round pick, that's not guaranteed money.
No.
You come back if you're a second-round pick.
Well, what's funny, and you played it at the top of Sound Off here, is Coach Max said it in postgame. He goes, look, he makes me a better coach. I need him around. I hope he comes back. This is a very special team. Who are we kidding here? And when you saw Senior Day, and you saw how Echenike was from Rutgers and Grant Gibbs was at the Zags, who are going to be the #1 team. I know you love that. And Doug showed up when Doug wasn't supposed to be at Creighton, and then he is. This is a special team. They got to maximize their opportunity. I know we're going to talk about that in a second, but this team is very special, and the buzzsaw that is the Creighton Blue Jays that started 17-1 was at the link yesterday.
I am leaning towards that. I think they're back. I want to go back to the phone lines. Bob and Lincoln, what do you think? Is Creighton back this year?
No, I don't believe they are. I think it's a lot easier, obviously, playing in front of the home crowd than it is when they're on the road. It's been very inconsistent, even to a certain extent. McDermott, when they needed some big points from him, the St. Mary's game was indicative of where the problem lies. And I think they are going to go to the tournament, of course, but I'm going to predict that they're going to go 1 and they're going to be out of it first round.
All right, interesting. People aren't quite all the way back. I understand you don't want to jump at fool's gold here, but that was the best defensive team in the Valley, the best defensive team they have to offer in the Valley, and they shredded that defense, shredded it.
No, remember, they didn't even play a good game early February when they were at Wichita. They lost by 3 points, and I know Raggi missed a bunch of shots at the end there. They can handle Wichita State. Now, if you're a Shockers fan, I'll see you in Arch Madness with that comment. But you know what? It's like Chase Williams. He asked me about 2 months ago on the show. He said, are they a soft team? Talking about the Jays. No, they're a perimeter team. They're perimeter based. They got to hit their shots from the outside, and then they look good. 70%, you're going to beat NBA teams if you're shooting 70%.
A lot of teams shooting 70%. That does it for now. Now it's time to join Mark.
No, they're a perimeter team. They're perimeter based. They got to hit their shots from the outside, and then they look good. 70%, you're going to beat NBA teams if you're shooting 70%.
A lot of teams shooting 70%. That does it for now. Now it's time to join Marty McFly into the future. And I will gaze into my apparently broken crystal ball and attempt to forecast the Jays tournament future, and we'll take your likely much more accurate calls as well.